means you got to go to an application and start that. So share a little bit about how you started to put together your application.
Yeah, so from the beginning of dental school, there's a couple of things that, like, just within healthcare in general, I'm really interested in, like increasing representation in healthcare and specifically within dentistry, things related to advocacy within an educational environment with representation and of underrepresented groups. And so I was always involved with a lot of stuff related to that. And I think whichever way I went, whether it was to specialize or to not, I would be doing things that were related to those. And so in terms of an application, those aspects of my application were pretty much set from the beginning because this was the stuff that I decided that I wanted to do. That's where I wanted to invest my energy. And then upon deciding that I wanted to do ortho, it was like, yeah, later in the first year, beginning of that second year, being able to see the different things that go into that, like I don't like to do the whole checklist thing, but it seems like for ortho, it's just so important because there's so many people who have so many brilliant things on their application. You don't want to
Yo,
leave any stones
you
unturned.
gotta
Like
have
you
a
want to be able
checklist.
to, yeah, yeah, you
Gotta have a
have to have
checklist
everything.
because otherwise you're gonna check out.
Exactly, exactly. This the process is very, very hard. So you don't want to go through the whole thing and not work out. So I was figuring out all the things I needed to do, like getting into a research lab. I got into a research lab like the end of my second year and did research for that third year. Figuring out what that GRE is going to look like, and especially because I go to a school that's pass no pass, we don't have grades, and so the GRE is really the only
Ooh.
numerical metric they have. And so for other students at different schools who have GPAs, it may not matter as much for the GRE. But since I don't have grades, there's a really large emphasis on making sure that we do really well on that. And so
Is there ranking?
figuring
You have any ranking at
we don't have
UCLA?
ranking grades,
No,
we don't have
no
anything.
percentile, like you're in the first percentile or the first quarter percentile or the second. None of that either.
We don't have any of that. We have what's called like honors and individual courses, which is like the top 10% of scores. But with COVID, a lot of the honors were like taken away and they didn't have honors for most of the classes. And so we didn't, it was just a whole bunch of passes. And that's how the transcript looked. So I had to make sure that I did really well in the GRE. Actually, no, I took it twice. Like my mentors were really encouraging and being able to recognize that these are some of the things I needed to do. So I took it twice and was really happy with my score that second time. Um, and so, yeah, being able to get that research down, making sure my extracurriculars, whether it be like volunteering or the different types of work within representation of dentistry that I was doing, making sure that I was doing that to be suited to my passions and not necessarily suited to what people think needs to be there for like an orthodontic residency. And then since I was so involved with those sorts of things and not necessarily like ortho study club and like ortho clubs and all that kind of stuff, I didn't have ortho on my on my CV when turning it in, which is not very common. So I had to make sure that I had at least something to articulate my interest in ortho. So doing a bunch of shadowing, I was doing shadowing like once a week for it was for a while.
Now, where was
Um,
that? Did you do it within the school internally, or did you do it externally?
I did both. I shadowed a good amount within the school at the resident ortho clinic, and then I also shadowed at private practice to make sure to get exposure to different types of orthodontics, what it looks like in different areas.
Yep.
Um, and be able to see what how it fully encompassed is ortho on a practical level. And there's huge philosophy or like principle differences between the different types as well. So it was really cool to be able to see that. But I had to make sure that I had something to articulate how interested and dedicated I was to ortho itself. And so that shadowing was how I did that for sure. And that was pretty much most of what my application entailed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a lot. I mean, and that's another reason why you want to have a checklist, right? So you can
Mhm.
get it out of your head, get it on piece of paper so that you can follow up, but also that you have helps you with a strategic plan to make sure that you have things that you need to do, and then when you do them, you're checking it off so you can get to the next thing. Because as many of you already know, your time is already being monopolized, but monop- monopolized by regular dental school stuff, right? You don't have to apply to residency program, so it's not a requirement for graduation. So you have all your other graduation requirements that you have to do. This applying to residency is extra, right? So
Yeah,
you
dental
have to,
school is hard enough.
yeah, dental school is hard enough, right? So, and that's the reason why you're applying to ortho, because you got to, you want to become a dentist first, right? So another reason why you want to make sure that you have the things that you need to do to get done, and you're organized, and making sure you have a checklist as part of your application as well.
Next assignment is go to the next video. Go to the next video right now. Go, go, go. Love, peace, and smiles. Go to the next video. Go to the next video.